Steve Oedekerk's Kung Pao Enter the Fist isn't just any regular goofy parody, it's a Frankenstein's monster of pure absurdity which has been stitched together with green screens, over-the-top acting, and enough WTF moments to make the most seasoned movie buffs question reality. But behind all those hilarious scenes were several unusual stories that went unnoticed in the public eye. But no long, cuz in today's video, we're bringing you 15 insane facts about one of the craziest parody movies of all time. So gear up, as we're about to enter a world where tongues can talk, cows can fight, and the villain is named Betty. But before we get into our facts, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Fact 1. The man, the mic, the mayhem. What if we told you that in Kung Pao Enter the Fist, Steve Oedekerk argued with himself, flirted with himself, and even occasionally slapped himself? No, we're not going nuts, just hear us out. Everyone knows that Oedekerk was the writer, director, and lead actor for the film. However, only a few people know that he also voiced all the male and female characters in the movie. Not only that, he also dubbed the voice for the baby too. He raided the voiceover department like a one-man band on a high dose of caffeine, dominating the recording booth like the Boston Celtics of the 50s and 60s. Result, the audience experienced a universe created with only one throat and a dream. Only Jennifer Tung was lucky enough to escape Oedekerk's dominance and voice the dialogue for her character, Whoa. So, next time you watch this masterpiece, remember that you're witnessing a one-man show. Fact 2. From icebergs to flying fists. This might come to you as a shock, but Kung Pao Enter the Fist might have one of the coolest and weirdest cameos in cinema history. If you don't believe us, you must revisit the peaceful waterfall scene. At first glance, the scene might look like a normal waterfall scene. You look closely and even squint your eyes hard enough, and you'll spot the wrecked Titanic chilling underwater as if it took a wrong turn on its way to Avatar. It was a blink and you'll miss it gag, but if you miss it, you miss it. And if you see it, you can't unsee it for the rest of your life. But what was a destroyed Titanic doing in an old-school kung fu movie? The makers had no explanation, logic, or context for adding it, but a few die-hard fans believe that Oedekerk just wanted to add the luxurious sunken ship to promote the unfiltered absurdity of the movie. Anyways, the presence of a destroyed Titanic in Kung Pao will always be remembered as one of the craziest crossovers in cinematic history after the Flintstones met the Jetsons.
I need gopher chucks.
Fact 3. The dubbing that missed the Oscars by a whisker. In Hollywood, or cinema in general, a movie is widely appreciated for its wonderful dialogue, creative action set pieces, and near-perfect acting by the cast. But have you ever heard about a movie that was highly celebrated for its bad dubbing? Well, that legendary honor was given to Kung Pao Enter the Fist. However, many are unaware that the bad dubbing effect in the movie was not an accident, but a deliberate attempt to create systematic nonsense on screen. So, how did Oedekerk and his team pull this one off? Does doing bad work well require more work than just doing good work? Well, to get things on track, Oedekerk asked the actors to deliver random dialogue on set. After that, the actual dialogue was dubbed in the studio with the actors' lip movements. One of the dialogues that was dubbed in this way was when the chosen one asks, "But isn't Betty a woman's name?" If you read the character's lips properly, then you would observe that the character is saying, "But isn't Yahtzee a family game?" which serves as a much more valid question. Many audiences loved the perfect mismatch as they felt it transported them back to the era of old-fashioned martial arts movies on VHS, dubbed by a voice actor who had just woken up from a nap in most cases. Fact 4. The crotch that felt no pain. Oedekerk aimed to create a parody of classic martial arts films. However, he didn't want to make it a typical spoof using outdated techniques and methods. Instead, he used an innovative trick. He went into mad scientist mode and digitally inserted himself and a few relatively new actors into an old martial arts film called The Savage Killers, also known as Tiger and Crane Fists. It was a vintage kung fu flick loaded with deadly stares and dramatic zooms, but Oedekerk didn't select the movie as his base because it had insane action or superior acting. He selected this movie because he fell in love with the villain's crotch. Don't get the wrong idea, Oedekerk is a straight guy. Actually, in the real movie, the villain was repeatedly whacked in his nuts, but he didn't flinch, scream, or limp. Oedekerk became fascinated with this scene and discovered his parody gold. The end result? A parody that perfectly remixes the age-old traditional martial arts movies with slapstick modern comedy. Fact 5. Enter the Fist exit with a prank. In today's cinema, it's quite normal to finish off a movie with an end credits scene, but Kung Pao Enter the Fist, something different happened. The movie ended with an end credits scene where the teaser of the next installment, titled Kung Pao 2, Tongue of Fury, was shown. As usual, people who loved the movie got excited about the news of the sequel. Later, the gossip about its pre-production hype intensified when it was listed on IMDb, the internet's unofficial truth oracle. Message boards lit up, fan art surfaced, and some even started dreaming of being cast in different roles for this film. Sounds pretty normal, right? The plot twist. Later, Odenkirk confirmed that the entire end credit scene was just a gag, and his team had no plans to make a sequel to the movie. Many considered Odekirk's prank a loving nod to Mel Brooks-style fake sequel promises. Even though Odenkirk played a wonderfully misleading gag, many fans still believe that one day, Kung Pao 2, Tongue of Fury, might return to entertain them once more.
And defeating Betty is the first step to revealing the Council's identity.
Fact 6. Lights, camera, law. Those who have watched the movie will surely remember the iconic scene where the Chosen One speaks to the mystical computer-generated lion, Mushu Fasa. At first glance, that scene might appear divine with an elaborate studio setup, huge lighting team, and advanced fog machines, but would you believe it if we said the whole sequence took place in Odekirk's backyard? While most directors spend hours finding just the right location for their scenes, Odekirk believed his backyard was enough to fit the requirements for the Mushu Fasa scene. Just a digital video camera, desk lamp for lighting, and a hairdresser for the dramatic windswept look, Odekirk created a low-budget, high-laugh spiritual scene that perfectly mimicked the old-school kung fu spirit and fit the movie's tone, as it celebrated absurdity rather than realism.
Betty's protective caps were these swords.
Fact 7. A dubtastic term. Many might not know that Kung Pao Enter the Fist had a very different beginning. Initially, the project was titled the dubbed action movie Enter the Fist and aimed to be a parody of anime shows and movies with poor English dubs. But somewhere along the way, makers pivoted from their plan. Instead of spoofing anime, they leaned on making a parody of 1970s Hong Kong-based kung fu films, also renowned for their wild dubbing, just like the animes. But still, the spirit of anime was carried forward in Odekirk's movie. How? He utilized some of the original gags and characters in his movie were initially planned to be incorporated into the anime spoof. Fact 8. Bye 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 Logic. One of the most glorified random moments in the film involved Master Tang casually mentioning that he likes the boy band NSYNC, so that you remember that this movie is a product of the early 2000s. However, the fun fact is that NSYNC's hit song Pop was featured in the 2001 sci-fi animated comedy Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, which was also written by Steve Odekirk. So when Master Tang declared his love for the famous boy band in the middle of the movie, it wasn't just a weird flex, but a genuine attempt to crack an inside joke, direct fans to tap on Odekirk's other works prior to this parody. So next time Odekirk releases a new parody movie, don't be surprised to see Justin Timberlake making a cameo appearance right out of the blue. Fact 9. Quiz show beats for kung fu feats. You might not know that the epic and bizarre theme of Kung Pao Enter the Fist is actually the remastered and sped-up version of the theme song from a 1967 British game show called Ask the Family. A movie featuring absolute kung fu bullshit actually kicked off with a theme that was originally used for a polite trivia battle between British families. But the makers of the movie didn't take the theme of the show direct. Actually, the BBC quiz show Ask the Family used Akaraga as their theme music. It was later covered and adapted in 1969 by the band Shocking Blue. Later, the melody of the band's song was sampled and remixed by Mint Royale, which they named From Rusholme with Love. Later, From Rusholme with Love became the theme for Kung Pao.
I am the chosen one.
Ah, yes. I am Mushu Fasa.
Fact 10. Mushu Fasa, brought to you by CNN. For this fact, we have to return to the scene where the mystical Mushu Fasa was speaking with the Chosen One. If you've seen the movie, you'll know that after the end of the conversation, Mushu Fasa abruptly whispers, "This is CNN." Don't you think that voice sounded familiar? That's because it was none other than James Earl Jones, the man who actually delivered the same line for CNN. Another interesting fact about Jones is that he didn't just play Mushu Fasa, he also voiced Mufasa in 1994's The Lion King. Fact 11. The intermission was intermissioning. If a movie is planning to have an intermission, the writers are advised to create an impactful scene that would organically lead the audience to the perfect intermission block. Kung Pao Enter the Fist intermission block was a touch of genius by Oda. No, it wasn't something out of this world. Rather, it was just an intermission title with characters popping out of the movie, urging the audiences in their dubbed voices to take a break and grab some snacks. No doubt it was hilarious, but what was so genius about it? Well, the scene wasn't in the initial plans. Originally, interrogation and the escape sequences were much longer. When the scenes were cut to adjust the pacing, a huge gap was created. So, Oda slapped the intermission title card on it, just like the 1950s movies, as a quick fix to the situation. To top it off, he also added cheesy music from his surreal comedy variety TV special from 1997, SteveOdakirk.com, which he put together for NBC. So yeah, instead of fixing a problem in a normal way, Odakirk did it into a gag.
Bad. There should be a new, stronger word for killing, like bad wrong.
Fact 12. The Curious Case of Badong. In the movie, Master Betty wipes out everyone that the Chosen One cared about, sending our hero into an emotional trance where he mixed words like bad and wrong to create a new word, dong, to express his anger and pain. But you might be surprised to know that Badong is not just a made-up sinister name, it's actually a real country in China. Yup, Badongxian, China is a peaceful region, but it was unintentionally dragged into a parody universe. So, next time you travel to China, especially Badong, remember the place isn't sinister, that's just Odakirk's ability to pick something random and turn it into a work of art.
There.
Fact 13. Mote, or motivated evil. In the Kung Pao universe, nothing is random, even the logos. Yup, we're talking about the logo that was used to represent the Evil Council. First glance, the logo looked like a symbol of doom or an ancient martial arts clan, and be surprised to learn that the logo actually belonged to Kingdom's Mote testing station. Cars are checked for their worthiness. That's right, Odakirk picked an innocent symbol which was meant to help British drivers maintain their cars and transformed it into an insignia dominating bad guys. So, next time any UK driver feels their Mott sign is radiating a little devilish energy, you know that Odakirk is the culprit. Weird sensation. Fact 14. Replaced to remember. In the movie, Odakirk digitally replaced Jimmy Wang Yu, the main lead and director of Savage Killers, with himself in almost all scenes that involved punching, screaming, and even tongue fight. Wang Yu did make a cameo appearance in Kung Pao, where, even after being removed from his own movie, Wang Yu did appear in the end credits of the film, the original cast of the Savage Killers. One can say that even though Odakirk green screened himself to fit in the shoes of Wang Yu, he didn't forget to pay his respects to the OG. You might get a stick from Wang Yu for adding a kung fu cow and a villain named Betty. Fact 15. Nonsense that broke barriers. When we think about great parodies, names like Airplane, Spaceballs, The Naked Gun, and Monty Python top our list. But stuck between a brilliant satire and utter insanity, we've got Kung Pao Enter the Fist. A cult classic which not only added a new flavor to parodies, but punched its way to the heart of the audiences, even with bad dubbing and a talking tongue. When released in 2002, Kung Pao wasn't a critically acclaimed darling, but over time it found its audience, kink for nonsensical and weird gags. Today, Kung Pao stands as a genre-bending quotable fever, which encourages makers to push the parody genre to new experimental heights. But what did Kung Pao actually achieve? Kung Pao's biggest legacy has to be that it's shown makers that they don't need to follow the rules to create a perfect parody. Kung Pao showed us that parodies can be dumb, smart, retro, modern, innovative, all at the same time. Sometimes all you need is an old kung fu movie and a bunch of silly voices. Sorry, we meant to say hard work, vision, and honesty. Marvelous conclusion. Fortunately, we've reached the end of our video, but we sign off. We'd like to know which facts about Kung Pao intrigued you the most and why. Let us know which movies you'd like us to cover next, and also let us know if we missed any cool facts about Kung Pao in the comments section down below. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.